my gorgeous plant people, welcome back to Reading Mindfully. My name is Ayana, and today we are talking May favorites, so let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I decided that I would just talk about a couple plants that I've been enjoying for the month of May, and these plants have just been either so low maintenance and easy, or they have been like troopers, like the comeback kids. So these are the plants that I just decided to highlight for last month, and so let's just get into it. And so the first plant that I am showing is actually one of the newest plants in my collection, and it is the Hoya mathilde. This is the splash variety. You can see that. I actually just watered this plant today, and so it is a little bit wet, but you can see the newer leaves that it put out. Trying to show this without the soil coming out, but there you go. So this is a new leaf, and then that's a new leaf, and then it's already putting out two more, and then two more here. So this one's growing really fast. I was kind of surprised that it took off so fast for me, because a lot of people say that when you purchase Hoyas, sometimes they don't do anything for you for the first couple of months to a year. And so I've only had this plant, it was delivered to my house May 11th, so I was surprised that it already started putting out so much growth. But I am just really enjoying this plant. You can see this leaf is kind of like half moon splash, which is very cool. And I was surprised that the leaves are growing right on top of each other. So I think this is going to be really compact, which I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for it to be really bushy. I do have this one outside, and so that also contributes to the growth that I'm getting. If you watch my haul, you know I was thinking about snipping it here, just because I like bushier plants. But since it's putting out so much growth, I'm just gonna let it do its thing and see where we go. It does have a tiny little growth in here, which you guys probably won't be able to see, but I'm not sure what that is right now. Like I said, we'll just have to see, and I'll keep monitoring it. I did post a picture of this one on my Instagram, so you guys can keep up with the progress. But this is just one of my favorite plants right now. It is just so easygoing, so low maintenance. I actually like this plant so much that I purchased another one, and here it is. I actually purchased this from the same seller, and the crazy thing is that I had only purchased one stem, because she only sells one stem of the splash. So I actually purchased this one because it was more splashy. And then it was weird, when I went to unbox the plant, there were two bundles in there, and she actually included this one as well. And I was surprised. I didn't know if she had made a mistake and sent it to me by accident, but I think she might have been trying to just get rid of it. I don't know if she felt like it was in her shop too long, because when I went back to look at her site, these were posted separately, but they were both gone. So maybe she sent it to me on purpose. She just saw that I had purchased two of the same like plant from her, so maybe she just decided to send them all to me. But I am just so grateful. I really love this plant. This one has a little bit less splash. I did want to get one that didn't have as much splash or speckling. So if this one doesn't have that much splash or speckling, I will propagate this one separately, so that way I can have a separate plant. Oh, and it looks like this one's already putting out a little growth point as well. You probably won't be able to see that, but I'm so happy that they're growing. I might end up potting them together to see how that looks, since I do want a bigger plant. The reason why I had kept them separate, one is because this one is growing new leaves and I didn't want to disturb it. Plus it has thicker leaves. This one, I talked about this before, but this one has thicker leaves than the other mathildes that I've seen. The leaves are also more pointy, and they are more matte than the other mathildes. And so this one has smaller leaves as well, but these are more rounded leaves, and they're matte as well, as you can see. But that's why I kept them separate. I don't know, I might just combine them in the future. Like I said, the ones on this stem are shiny, and that's the one that I was thinking about getting next. I kind of do want a mathilde that is more rounded and shiny and speckly. But I think with the matte leaves, you can give them more light than with the shiny leaves. I noticed that other YouTubers and other people that have mathildes with the shiny leaves, when they try to give them a lot more light, they start to turn chlorotic and bleach. So I think with the shiny leaves, you have to be careful not to give them too much light. But with the matte leaves, you can give it a little bit more light. Also, the matte leaves, I read that with Hoyas, they actually have shiny coatings because it helps keep the moisture in. So maybe that's why I also water mine more frequently. And so I would have to get a mathilde with the shiny leaves to see what the difference is. But that's just what I noticed with mine so far, is that I do have to water it pretty frequently. Besides the fact that it is outside and it's getting a good amount of light and, you know, warmth and everything. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below if you think I should just like pot these two together. I don't know, we'll see. I am really enjoying the mathildes though. They are like definitely one of the easiest Hoyas for sure. The next plant, oh, I'm just so excited about this plant. You guys know that I ordered one of these before and it just did not work out. Actually, this is my third one. The second one that I had is actually, I gave to my mom. But this is just such a beautiful plant. It's a Syngonium leucotricha. And it's just so gorgeous. You can see like the silvery coloring on the leaves. It's so furry and soft. It's like lamb's fur or like a puppy fur. It's so beautiful. I really enjoy this plant a lot. And actually didn't take that long to sprout, which I was very surprised that it didn't take a long time to sprout. I also have this one outside and it is just basking in the sun. I don't know if it's gonna bloom for me, but even if it doesn't bloom for me, I'll be fine with that, because this is like the first time that I'm like really having one. I also just watered this one. This one actually takes a surprising amount of water, but also I do have it outside. And then I did a lot of research on this plant, and a lot of people said that it was like a lower light plant. And I remember saying that when I first got this plant, that it was lower light, like an African violet. But this one can actually take a good amount of sun, and I think that's why it's been growing so quickly and so compact. You can see that the stems in there are very short. You can see little bugs on there. But yeah, this one takes a surprising amount of sun, and I've been careful not to either burn the leaves or burn the caudex, but it's been doing really well. The caudex has actually gotten a lot bigger as well. I don't let this one dry out too much, and I think that's why it's been growing so well and why the caudex is swelling, because I don't let the plant use the water that's in the caudex, and so I think that's why it's been benefiting so much. The next one, we're just going to get all the baby ones out of the way. This is my newer baby. This is the Ficus shivereana, and this is just such a pretty plant. I've wanted this plant for so long, but if you guys remember, this plant was very expensive, and I only was able to get a small one because they were at a reduced price from an Etsy seller, the Green Escape. They had one round that they were selling. I think they're on their second or third round. Of course, they raised the price since the first round, since the first one had just sold out so quickly. So I'm glad I got it on the first round before they raised the price. But this one is just such a beautiful plant. Of course, it's still a baby. You can see that it's getting a good amount of light because the newer leaves are coming in very red. I haven't got any of the thicker leaves yet. This one's a little thick, like a rubber tree, but I haven't gotten any of the thicker leaves yet. They're still on the really thin side, but this is just such a nice plant. I do treat it like my other rubber trees. I don't let it go too dry just because the leaves are so thin. I don't want them to just dry out too much. But I love this one because it's like the Taneki. Yeah, it's like the Taneki and the, like a little bit of the ruby, but it's more mottled. And so it's just really pretty. I can't wait for it to get bigger and have the thicker leaves. Of course, the patterning does change when the leaves become bigger and thicker, but for now, it's just a really beautiful plant and I am enjoying it. Alright, so the next two plants are like my comeback kids. The plants that really just made me feel like a good plant parent, even though I like made some mistakes with them. Ooh. And so the first plant that I want to show you guys is my black maranta. It's doing very well. It's growing in some leaves, as you can see there. Now this one, I told you guys in my houseplant tour that I had actually made a mistake with this plant. Well, actually with all of my prayer plants, I had accidentally, I accidentally over fertilized them because I didn't like my fertilizer. I didn't like the smell of it, so a genius me thought that if I used more of it, I could use it faster and move on to a new fertilizer. That was just a dumb idea. I should have just like put the fertilizer like in my flower bed outside or something like that. But yeah, don't do that and over fertilize your plants. But this one has bounced back. Although I thought I was gonna lose it at one point, and you can see that there's some still like struggling leaves on there, but I'm just so grateful that I didn't lose this plant. The other thing that I messed up on this plant and a couple of my other prayer plants was that they were so root bound. It wasn't holding any water, and so I did pot it into a larger pot, and it started just putting out leaves immediately. And so I'm so happy that it's doing really well. You can see the black that's in those leaves. It really stands out. It's just so beautiful. This is another newer leaf, so that's why you don't see any black on there. I don't know if this one will have black, but yeah, this is so beautiful. I remember one of my subscribers was asking me, how do I know it's a black maranta? You kind of just have to trust the people that you buy plants from. Try to buy plants from people who are reputable and you know that hopefully won't cheat you out of your money. But yeah, this is the black maranta. Along the same lines of the black maranta, I wanted to show you guys my silver band maranta. I haven't showed you guys this in a while besides like my houseplant tour, but this one is just growing like crazy. This one also was very pot bound, so I up potted this one, and it is just putting off bigger leaves. You can see this one's a newer leaf. But look at the size of the leaves that it's putting off now. It is such a gorgeous plant. Look at that silver that's coming in there. But this one's doing very well. It's putting out a ton of new leaves. And I remember when I first was looking up this plant, everyone was saying it was so hard to grow. But I don't find that it's hard to grow at all. It's just like the other marantas. Look at that big leaf. it's just like the other maranta. So if you can grow the lemon lime, and you can grow like the red vein maranta, this one will be very easy for you to grow as well. I mean, I do have some crispy ones in here, and that's because the plant was root bound and it wasn't holding on moisture, but it's a very good grower. It is kind of like sparse in there. If you guys can see that, I was thinking about propagating it and like putting the pieces back in there, but I just I don't want to cut this one. I do have other ones that are currently propagating, but I kind of just don't want to cut this one. So that's why it's just like looks like the way it is. But this is like one of my favorite plants of all time. It's just such a beautiful, easygoing plant, and I never thought I would say that about a prayer plant, but it is, to be honest. And yeah, so this one's definitely happier since I up-potted it. I also started fertilizing all my plants with a new fertilizer, and I think this fertilizer is going to be the fertilizer that I use forever. I found a fertilizer that all of my plants like, and so I don't have to, you know, pick and choose what plants to use this fertilizer with. I also haven't had a bunch of like burning on the tips with this new fertilizer. You can see that there's no like burns or anything with the new fertilizer, so I'm very excited with this new fertilizer. I do want to use it a little bit more before I let you guys know what I'm using. But yeah, this plant seems to love it, and you know prayer plants are kind of picky with like fertilizers and different chemicals. The fertilizer that I'm using now, it doesn't have any like chlorine in it, so that's another reason why there isn't any like burn. I'm still using tap water, but yeah, this plant is doing so well. I think it really likes the fertilizer. It hasn't been getting as much light as it was, so I'm also surprised that it's putting off bigger leaves, but maybe that's the key as well, for it to not get as much light. But yeah, this one's doing so well, and I can't wait for my black maranta to get as big as this one. So yeah, those are the 5 plants that I have been really enjoying for the month of May. Like I said, these plants have either just been so easygoing, or when I messed up majorly, they stuck around, they stuck by me, and they made me feel like I wasn't a terrible plant parent. Even though, you know, sometimes we do make mistakes as plant parents. It sucks when you have a plants that you really like, or when you just make a mistake and they just like die back, or just, you know, burn or everything. It just makes you feel bad and makes you feel terrible. But I'm glad these plants have stuck around, and like I said, I do have the rest of my other prayer plants currently propagating, so I'm hoping to pot those up very quickly or very soon. I have my other prayer plants that are rebounding as well, and they seem to also like the new fertilizer. They also don't have a lot of the browning tips, so I'm really excited to bring you guys a video of my new fertilizers to show you guys what I'm using now. But like I said, my current favorite is the Mathilde. I would like to have one, like I said, that just has the speckling and the round leaves. I think that one's really cute. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys those plants. I've really been enjoying where my collection is going. It's so like easy going. I'm not really like stressed out too much about my plants. There are a couple plants that I do have to fix up, mainly my philodendrons. My philodendrons need work right now. And then other than that, I've been working on fixing up my plants by category. So the ones that I worked on first were my prayer plants. Then I started working on my ferns. The only thing I have to do with my ferns is I need to repot my Australian tree fern, and I already snipped off some of the dead leaves. And then My staghorn ferns, I need to repot those, but I'm waiting to get bigger size Vanda baskets. And so I'm working by category, slowly fixing up my plants. I need to work on my philodendrons, like I said. My monstera needs to be repotted. It needs to be potted into the pot because it's still in the nursery pot inside that big pot, so I need to actually like pot it. And then my rubber trees need to be repotted. And then with the Hoyas, the thing that I want to do with my Hoyas is to propagate a lot of them or a couple of them, and you know, make them bushy and things like that. So that's what I'm working on with my plant collection. I find it easier to work on them by genus, and so that's what I do with my watering as well. And so yeah, that's what I've been working on. And I think the next couple of videos I want to do is my Hoya propagation, and I can tell you about the plants that I have outside. And yeah, so I just want to thank you guys so much for watching my videos, liking and subscribing, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.